Hello and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sport and some very interesting rugby transfer news today on a Monday with Ruan Ackermann looking to potentially return back to South Africa in order to try and pursue his Springbok dream. And apparently already talking to at least one South African side about a potential return from the Premiership and looks to set to sort of shelve his England aspirations and try and play for the Springboks, which he says remains his ultimate rugby dream. Now, before we talk about exactly what the implications are, which sort of teams are talking to him, and where he could really fit in, please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, Ruan Ackermann has been in England for about 6 years now. He followed Johan Ackermann, his father and coach, to Gloucester back in 2017. Following two really successful seasons at the Lions when he was still a youngster. I mean, he's 28 years old now. So, I mean, he was playing week in, week out at 19, 20, 21 years old for the Lions and was one of the standouts. He combined really well in the loose trio. Warren Whiteley, Jaco Kriel, for example. They often had sort of a loose trio like that of those sort of three, which was really, really good. And at the time, it almost looked like inevitable that he was going to probably take the next step up because he was playing at such a high level at such a young age. And it kind of looked like he just had everything. You know, he was big, he was physical, he had a good skill set, a good work rate. He's obviously the son of a former South African player. So it's something like Johan Ackermann's going to understand what it takes to play for the Springboks. So kind of had everything going for him. He then made the move to the UK, which obviously immediately sort of ruled him out for playing for the Springboks because at the time there was still the eligibility rule, which you couldn't play for Springboks if you were foreign based. Obviously, that did change basically a year later, 2018. But he was never really on the Springbok radar once again because he kind of sort of fell off it by going to England. But he had started put together a couple of impressive seasons and all of a sudden was very much on the England radar. And in fact, Steve Borthwick apparently looked at potentially bringing him in last year, but for an injury, which then ruled him out of potential selection. So he is eligible to represent England, having qualified there, but has obviously not made a test debut yet. And he's now basically said it looks like his chance of playing for England are pretty much gone, and he'd really like to get back to South Africa and try and push to play for the Springboks, which he said continues to be his sort of big dream. So this is what he had to say. He was so report the publication has said that he is talking to a South African team, but he has not clarified which ones. He spoke to reports saying, "I'm not playing in South Africa. I see the stadiums are getting more and more full. At the moment, it has always been this way. I would also like to play for the Springboks." He said, I just want to play at the highest level. It's a dream of mine, but the Springboks are my first choice. I feel like I've been here long enough to prove it myself back in England, and that our chance or option never came. I think they have their eye on other players, and so basically suggesting that now England isn't really an option. But if you really wants to play for South Africa, he probably knows that whilst or not legally, but rules speaking, he can be selected by Rassie Erasmus whilst playing for Gloucester. Generally, people don't unless they're playing the rugby in South Africa and are on the Springbok radar before going overseas. So the rumor is that he's talking to the Sharks, and the Sharks are looking to add him to the stocks. I mean, you just think this is just another, Sharks big signing that's maybe not going to come off. You look at the Lions and the Sharks signings, and some of them have been absolutely world-class signings, but a lot of them haven't really worked. And the strategy itself has not really worked. So, I mean, I think he's a reasonable fit for the Sharks. I think they do have a lot of loose forwards. They have a lot of injuries this season. Vincent Tuka hasn't played a lot. Noche has not been available a lot. So they have had quite a few injuries. So there's no doubt he'd add to the team, and he'd definitely become a top 3 to 4 player. Is it the right place for him to go? Obviously as a Lions fan, apparently it's just never ever an option for him to come back to the Lions, where I think he could add a lot of value. I think the Lions loose forwards are really good, but very young. The likes of Franco Hawley, Manage Tuka, Ruan Fent, Henry Surgeon's now started coming through quite nicely, Jason Pretorius. So I think that he'd come back as a senior player. And I think he could really complement that loose trio. I think, given the fact that the Lions, for example, are also really lacking in the lock department, you could see Ruan Fenton move into the lock. You could have Ruan Ackermann playing, in the number 7 jersey, for example, alongside a Franco Horn and a Jason Pretorius, or, Emmanuel Tuka, for example. And it could be a really nice dynamic loose trio. I don't see it going to the Bulls. I think they've just got a plethora of loose forwards. I mean, you look at the way Mpilo Gumedi's playing. He's not even that particularly high on the sort of the roster, and he's he's on drop at the moment. Even if you look at the Stormers, for example, also a couple of injuries, but Evan Roos not playing, and yet Hachira Damani's playing brilliant rugby. You've got Dion Free, at the end of his career, but he's got another season in him. You've got Ben Jason Dixon, who's really coming through nicely. You've got a Marcel Tienerson. You've got a Nama Clubber, for example. So they do have a reasonable amount of loose forwards. So, what do you think? First of all, do you think he's good enough to play for Springboks? I definitely do. I think that obviously he's very unlucky to be in a position where there's just so much depth and talent, but I don't think he would be a downgrade. I don't think he'd be someone who's not good enough. I think he would do great service for a Springbok jersey if he were to get the opportunity. He's played for South Africa 8 before back in the day. What do you think? Do you think, first of all, we can make the Springboks? And which team would suit him the most to be able to come back and make that Springbok push? Let me know down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.